Hello everybody, Treno here, and welcome back to the La Royale dev server. And today we're taking a look at the CV9030 Finn, which is coming to the Swedish tech tree at 9.0 between the IKV91105 at 8.3 and the STRF 9040B at 9.3. Now, of course, this is worse than the 9040B in many ways because, of course, it uses a smaller caliber weapon, the 30mm Bushmaster 2 Mark 44, which has a maximum penetration at 500 meters with APFSDS shells of 110mm. And, of course, you can fire pure high explosive incendiary tracers as well if you want, and default, which is a mix of APDS and high explosive incendiary tracer shells. The APDS round only has a maximum penetration of 81mm at 500 meters. Compare that to the 9040B. It doesn't say here, but according to the wiki, it has a fire rate of 300 rounds a minute. And of course, it uses the 40mm ACAN M70B, which with its APFSDS round has a maximum penetration of 137mm at 500 meters, meaning that this has 27mm more penetration and a faster fire rate. So while the Finn isn't a bad variant, it is of course inferior to the later 9040B. And to be expected, it is very lightly armoured, but there are a few caveats to that. For example, the hull uses 20mm RHA armour, but you do have these composite screens around the sides of the vehicle and on the turret. Underneath the composite screens, it is again 20mm RHA. But the composite screens are unusual because they have a very bad multiplier for kinetic rounds, only a 0.16. But against chemical rounds like heat, it has a 2.0 multiplier. So the 50mm thickness at a 0 degree angle will actually be 100mm thickness against heat shells. So if we take the Leopard 1A 5NO and use its APFSDS round, you can see there only an equivalent protection of about 54mm, not particularly good. But if we go to the HeatFS shell, you can see that suddenly jumps up to about 220mm. Now, of course, most vehicles in this battle rating are going to be easily capable of firing through that. Their heat shells have penetrations up to like 400, 500mm and beyond. But occasionally with some vehicles, especially around here, where it's about 350mm, you could potentially block some heat shells. So if we go to the T55M, for example, you can see around here some small areas you won't be able to penetrate, especially at an angle. But again, as you can see, it will just go straight through in most places. And again, you've got the composite screen on the side, which provides, again, a little bit more extra protection against heat shells. But like I say, at this tier, they're not going to be troubled by that at all. You're only going to really have trouble if somebody decides to bring a really low tier vehicle into the higher battle ratings for whatever reason. The speed is pretty good at 44 miles per hour or a little under 71 kilometers an hour, making this a decently speedy vehicle. We compare it to the STRF 40B, it's the same speed as that and the C, so you're not going to have any advantages over the later vehicles, but no disadvantages on the speed front either. And of course, the transmission and engine are at the front, so they do provide a little bit of extra protection. And as you can see, you've got 8 gears forward and 4 gears back, so you've got a decently fast speed in reverse of 28.1 miles per hour, or about 45 kilometers an hour, which is pretty good. And lastly, we have a crew of 3. So you've got your driver at the front here, and he's surrounded a little bit by some RHA armour internally, though it's only 10mm thick, so not great. And then you've got the commander and gunner in the turret. Now, unfortunately, I can't take this for a test drive, but I am going to show off some of the Finnish crew voices quickly on a different vehicle, because I did say to a viewer I would do that. So we're just going to take the T28 out for a quick test drive just to see how they perform. So that is the CV9030 Finn. And yeah, this seems to be a decent enough vehicle. I think it'll be a very good addition to the Swedish tech tree, and it is nice to have more Finnish vehicles in the game. Anyway, just a quick video for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll join me for the next videos. I've been Terreno, and I'll see you next time.